Phil, Darkside Phil, DSP, get some help. And I mean it, get some help. You're going to be 40, and you wasted your whole life with this whole entire YouTube, and in Twitch, and all these other things that are improving. Your health is getting worse. Your mental state is getting worse. Because you're not interacting with people, because you rather push people away that doesn't kiss your butt. To the point that you rather interact with a cat and your wife, who we're not even sure is there. You're not going to last until you're 60. Get help. And all you care right now is what you want to do your birthday week and suing us? No. Get help. And this video is going to cover everything of what's been going on since my last video. So let's begin, because we got a long way to go.
Then every step forward will always be a step closer to home.
So step on up to the place. Need to face what can spill into the light of us. Step on up to the place. 'Cause this ain't a game. It's time to make history.
Hey everyone, this is OPRoxas99, and it's been a bit since I did my last DSP video. I would say maybe around November or so of last year, and a lot has happened. Now, the biggest reason why I haven't really done a lot of DSP stuff, well, I've been doing a lot of it, I kind of make sure I do a few videos in between times, so I'm not getting too burned out, is that anything I do say is usually handled on Twitter, where I have more to say that cannot be said through, everything. But right now, I'm just working on my projects. Well, as you have seen since the biggest change between my last DSP video and this one is I now have an intro and outro. So this is the first time for most detractors you get to see my intro. The song is called Time to Make History from Persona 4 Golden. And those clips took me some time to make. But that's enough of my improving as myself a content creator. We're going to talk about Phil and his health. And it's typically his health is not getting good. Not just his physical health, but his mental health. There's a lot to say, so let's start off with physical health. For anyone who has followed Phil since, I would say, for a long time, Phil has really never been the most healthy individual. Since his condo days back in Connecticut, Phil would eat a lot of fast food, and that was a very unhealthy lifestyle. He barely cooks and lacks real cooking skills, even though the one thing he makes almost once every year is his sauce, which I'm 100% is going to literally be to kill him. But it's safe to say Phil is obviously, because he does not get enough real nourishment, doesn't eat very well. You can tell that he doesn't look like he eats well enough. And this is coming from the fact that when it comes to how he looks then and now. For example, and if you're curious, if you look at Phil, I would say maybe YouTube, he looked somewhat healthy. Like, you could tell he was putting on some pounds, and he was trying to alcohol tough with the arms folded, stuff like that. But he looked like he wasn't as, kept the way he does then than he does now. as YouTube stuff start coming in, you see Phil becoming more lazier and having to be convenient. For example, he would rather do those DSP trials, now what he calls feasting with the king, instead of cooking. Like, I would never say that my health is that good. Like, the major stuff that's with me is more like stuff that I gotta make sure that I'm gonna take care of. That's why since I've signed up for a health program, healthcare, I gotta make sure I have my yearly checkup and see how I'm doing. And right now the only major thing is my weight. I need to just lose weight. Phil is obviously gaining weight or losing weight, depending on how you look at it. I would say when Phil, if you could say Phil was gaining a lot of weight, because you could tell he always looked like he was getting fatter since coming to Seattle, and you can tell that Phil has obviously some medical issues that he won't say anything about, or he's holding back on it. Now, Phil mentions, for probably as long for anyone who knows a bit of DSP lore, of a back problem. And this back problem is something that Phil mentioned about, going to Seattle to get the surgery and, getting this back fixed, and he would spend, while his back is getting better, he would take the time away from streaming, and Liana would take care of him till his back is better. But as he started coming to Seattle, he started to say his back was better. So, did he really have these strange back injuries he keeps talking about? Now, he keeps changing the story of why he pulled his back. He even said he got into a car accident and his face was burned, but you don't see, burnt skin tissue, which is something you would know if someone had a burn mark. So it kind of feels as if Phil was lying. You know what I mean? So Phil's physical health, I feel like it was deteriorating. I think from years of just eating a lot of fast food, but not cooking for himself. Which again, you should always balance it out your food. I mean, I'm no health expert. I mean, I eat junk food often. I drink soda often as much as I can, but I do still try. I still like fruit. I still drink water. I still drink milk. Well, I don't drink milk like normal milk. You know what I mean? But the thing about Phil is that he, obviously you can tell, as time went on, you could tell he was not looking very well. His face was his face looked like it was not looking very well. His beard was patchy, and you could tell he's getting a lot of patches in his beard, and they're more visible. He says they're white hairs. His hairlining, he's obviously losing his hair. I don't know if it's even stress. I think he doesn't take care of his. I typically say Phil's hygiene is very terrible because I feel like Phil does not really take a shower. So you can tell his hair is very oily, his hair is very greasy, and he will talk about it because he's Italian. He's actually Polish. So it really kind of says that Phil is not taking good care of himself. So Phil's physical health was really showing
got going.
It's really kind of it's very interesting though that Phil is not doing very well. And making sure his physical health is better. You can tell that he's not. Because you can tell how he looks. You can tell his face is how his hair looks. His hair is receding. He's starting to lose hair. And it's hard to say he even gets a haircut. He's like, his hair doesn't really change. No matter when he says he has to get a haircut.
See what's inside.
So it really does feel that he's not just like his hygiene is poor. Like if you can tell, his teeth is not looking very good. He probably doesn't brush his teeth well, or as well enough. So who knows how bad it is. You can tell that Phil's taste of food is probably not as good as it used to be. Like you could tell Phil liking food is different than it was then to it now, but it really kind of feels that the more Phil, you can tell because he does not, and one of the things I'm talking about and what I'm trying to think of is, you can tell Phil does not go outside as often. Now, the one thing about is that one thing you really gotta also do, especially taking care of yourself, is that you gotta make sure that you get exercise and that Phil's skin is, he looks like the same color of his wall. And that could just because Phil does not have a good camera. But, sorry, if you heard that. It could be because Phil's camera, but you could tell Phil is not really getting out the sun as often. And I think you can tell he's not getting out the sun as much because he only leaves the house once a day. And because of that, and he spends so much, he's probably in the dark half the time, so he's never in the sun. And you know he's so irritated of when the sun is out. You can tell because he's not letting himself get the natural sun into natural sun. So Phil is. So Phil really is not taking care of himself because he's obviously not making sure he's gotten out the sun now.
More of those cubes. Let's have a look.
So
Wish you good luck.
why is Phil? So is Phil? So his skin is not looking good. What else is really wrong with him? Well, it's safe to say that Phil has a stroke. It's safe to say that Phil has a stroke. Probably has a stroke or had a stroke because he kind of looks like he has a stroke face. Sometimes he does those weird. His eyes are sometimes all over the place. Sometimes that's more to do with vision. But I'll get to that later. But it does look like he might have a stroke because he's obviously feeling a nerve pinch, and that's not a good sign. In fact, I should kind of look up. I should look up what's the signs. I should kind of look up the signs of a stroke, because that would be something to. That would be very good to kind of. Here we go. I'll reach out to you. The signs of a stroke.
Well, nearly time for the first gong to sound. Don't waste your breath, because we're gonna get this party started.
Let's see. Well,
happening in the
we'll
real
just
world now?
we just find the warning signs.
One. Fight.
So yeah, face drooping. We've seen Phil's face droop. Feels like his face is droopy. He's had arm weakness. His speech has been very difficult, and it's safe to say that it's safe to say now. Other symptoms: numbness, confusion, trouble seeing, trouble walking, severe headache. We can say Phil's vision is probably getting bad, but I'll get to that later. But I guess I'll get to that now. It's safe to say he's going to probably have a stroke, and if he doesn't do anything about it, he is going to. So, what could be the risk factors of probably stroke? Let's see: smoking, diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, lack of exercise, poor diet. Well, Phil doesn't smoke. He doesn't have diabetes. High cholesterol. He probably has high cholesterol. High blood pressure. He's always angry. Lack of exercise. Phil hasn't really exercised in a very long time, and no walking. Walking around your house after your break does not count as exercise. And poor diet. Yeah, his diet has not gotten better, even though he has gout.
Guess I don't need to worry about any cheap tricks.
Impressive, Sensei. You're sharp. But if you don't hurry and finish this, something terrible is going to happen to this town.
It's safe to say Phil is going to have a stroke, and it's going to be probably the most quickest thing to happen. So,
Is anyone surprised by the results?
he's obviously not doing well. He's not doing well physically, and if he doesn't take care of himself, he's going to
What's going on?
have a stroke, he's going to have a heart attack, and he had all the chances he could improve himself? Yes. He could improve his physical health. Like, I'm trying to go to the gym more often. I'm trying to lose weight. Phil is my diet hasn't really changed. I still eat the way I do, but I try to eat a lot of. I try to drink smoothies more often, which I've been drinking smoothies a lot last year, and I really enjoy it. I just need ice, and unfortunately, I don't have room for ice. Sadly, goddamn chicken. That's a me problem. That one. So now I think there's nothing really else to talk about Phil's physical health, but it's safe to say his mental health is the biggest problem why I'm making this video when others are talking about it. I will remember to link to everyone else who has spoken about the fact Phil wants to sue people, wants to sue us, but it's safe to say Phil's mental health is not going well. Phil has no friends. He doesn't talk to anybody. He basically listens to the voices in his head about how good his content is or good he's doing. He doesn't realize how bad he's going, and in fact that the ship is sinking. Phil is really letting us get to him, and it's safe to say because he lives in a fear. Why do you think he moved to that gated community? He moved to that gated community because he wanted to just be away from people. So, knowing that people that obviously might come after him, they can't come with the property without permission.
Calm down.
And it's interesting the fact that Phil is letting the trolls get to him is showing how much that he's losing his mind, and it's safe to say that it gets worse. So this episode, Phil has not really been doing been enjoying a lot of games lately, especially going into this year. Not just the fact that his playthroughs have not been doing very well, and while he basically tries to ride the Elden Ring train, he doesn't really make that. He doesn't make a lot of games very good because he's boring. Phil is literally making every game is making all these new games boring to watch, and he's wasting time, or he's trying to look up guides, try to get some kind of like OP like. So like OP weapon or build, and thinks that it's going to get him for the game, whereas not. The problem is, Phil is obviously not enjoying half the game he plays anymore, and it's getting to him more and more. The fact that it's obviously clear he knows that instead he should have just improved when he was ahead, not wait until last minute. And now he's trying to still wait for. He's still waiting for like the gifted membership because he wants that to be the thing that's gonna save his business, instead of actually improving his gameplay. And it really shows that he is not going to do anything but sit on his butt and just wait until he gets that he can basically have people make like a lot of fake accounts just so he can, you know, have his number be built and be paid for it. And that's the thing that really shows. He really is seeing the fact that he thinks that he's successful. You know, he's not. The whole OIC situation is proof of that. The more the fact that he had one of the worst nights with plumb new releases, and it's been getting worse. And to top it all off, he's not doing anything new. With Horizon and Elden Ring, half the time is a waste of time. And no one asked for Skyrim. He's gonna skip Ghostwire Tokyo because he saw the reviews, because again I thought he hated all about influencers. And then he's gonna skip that game and Strangers for Kirby? Like, it's gonna be boring to see him try to waste everyone's time 1% at a Kirby game, and I want to get that game as well. I'm picking it up Sunday. I picked it up Friday as well. And he is really... he's sick. And that's the way I can put it. He's sick physically and he's sick mentally. And he's gonna be 40 years old. And he's gonna give us some repetitive events on his birthday. As he sits with his little decorated bedroom, decorated office, blowing a party horn to no one but himself. And he is not doing well. He has no friends. He's not doing well physically and mentally. He's letting us get to him so badly that he actually wants to sue people. But he doesn't want to. It's basically a scare tactic. Because he thinks we're a coward. He thinks we're children. He still is mad about Fortnite. I think that only kids who play it. It's a rated teen game. Not your fault that Fortnite is more popular than you, Phil. But yet you still get mad. Like you stay up all night. You stay up on Twitter on your days off. We're looking for news. You don't do anything. You let your life become this. And you want to keep it up until you're 40, until you're 60. You're not going to get there because you haven't taken care of yourself. You are a wreck. You are a shell of what you wanted to be. And all you had to do was improve yourself. Your health, your mental state, but you won't. You're just gonna sit there and wait. You're just gonna let it all happen. And that is what is wrong with this picture. Sorry. He is not doing well. His channel hasn't grown. I even have the actual numbers. It's on my timeline. It's only he has not made any growth. He has not done anything new. Bill, because I know that you're attracted. I know that your fans will look for any video, but we don't want to see you suffer as much. We just want to see you humbled and to improve. We don't want to see you lose your house. We want to see you take the L and grow. But the longer you don't take those L's and grow, you're gonna one thing you'll do will get you kicked from the partnership from YouTube, and then you will have nothing but super chats. So you will have nothing. You'll barely be able to keep up with just tips. You won't make it because you wasted this. You waste all this money on Jin and W champions, and then you want to tell us about your taxes, and you gotta do your taxes every year. But I know after like the fact that you were to basically cheat the system to your bankruptcy, and you won that. We got people who got burned out because of that whole bankruptcy. Both Robin and Zephyr, who don't do DSP content anymore, and also Lightside Bill, who doesn't do the DSP content anymore. He got burned out. Both of them. We lost people who got burned out. You even make this the very thing you hated. This is how you role play boring, because you are making them boring. You won because they're not all good ones left, and people are not liking outsiders. But you won, Phil. But at what cost? You made your content boring. You made yourself boring. You made a whole segment about a boss fight with barely any real commentary. You're sick in the head mentally, and you're sick physically. And you need to take care of yourself, because you are not going to live. And we don't want you to die. We want you to actually be humble. So, to wrap up this, said in the beginning of this video, get some help. You got time, because you don't just you can take a week off and go to the hospital. Check those exams. Do that whole finger supposed to do about those ear infections you were supposed to be taking care of. Take care of those. Seems like those ear infections seem like to be a lie, so that means they don't exist. They probably were cats. Cause you know she's so tired of you. But get some help. And that's really it of this video. This was a long one. I've kind of rambled on the best I can. And really, I don't really know what to say. That hasn't, or it's already going to be said by Raven Dolphin, by Mitch, by everyone. And I probably might be repeating some of this during the late night podcast, if that ever has an episode and talk about the whole Phil stuff. But get help, please. So I'll see you all next time. I have a lot to cover to going into March. If you are keeping up with my channel, I'm uploading the arcade mode of Persona 4 Arena, and after I'm done with all 20 characters, I will cover the Persona 4, the story mode of Persona 4 Arena. And then I will cover the Ultimax story. And I will cover it the best I can, so these videos will come out every so often. I'll have a schedule on when how I want to upload videos. So keep a lookout that in going into maybe April. But until then, I'll see you next time. Take care.